family, how y'all doing? It's your girl, Yesina Knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you with some knowledge and spiritual awareness. I first and foremost have to give a big ups to content creator Dee for taking the initiative and promoting my video. It was an old classic I did back in 2018 about bitter baby mamas, and I must say, when she promoted the video, I was notified through one of my subscribers, Candace Tyndale. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. And I must say, I was definitely very flattered that there was another sister that would really take my content, take my video, take my knowledge, and share it with so many other people, especially due to the fact that my platform is so much smaller than hers. And it's a lot of content creators, they don't want to share the love, they don't want to share and promote other small content creators such as myself, especially if they have reached a plateau in which they are over a large amount of subscribers. I remember when I did that video, it was back in 2018. And I know the video was called Bitter Message to Bitter Baby Mamas, pertaining to the fact that it's so many women out there that are so bitter for various reasons. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that some of these women just struggle with moving on because they know internally they didn't make the best of decisions, and they're resentful and bitter because of the choices that they have decided to make. But it just goes to show you that as old as that video is, the message and the content and the knowledge behind it is still very refreshing, because this is an issue that still exists for many today. So it just goes to show you that, you know what, knowledge never gets old. You know, shoes may get old, designer labels may change up, you know, music is going to constantly change up, but one thing that never changes up is knowledge, especially when it's something edifying and it's something that many people can relate to. So that is one of my videos that has a very large amount of views, because again, so many men and women can relate to that particular situation. So even though it is one of my classic video, that video to this day still gets a lot of views, because again, it's a problem that's been going on for centuries, and it's still a problem today, if not more in 2022 than it was when I documented that video back in 2018. So I'm glad that even my classics, even my old videos are still, you know, speaking to people and reaching through people. So I'm glad that I'm still able to fulfill that goal as far as being able to give y'all the best of content. So I would definitely say I am more than grateful. I'm very appreciative that Dee took the time to promote my video and, you know, help for me to gain more subscribers. And I'm very grateful for that, because she's over 80,000 subscribers. And by the way, if y'all haven't subscribed to her, if y'all like the content that I do, she's pretty much in the same ballpark, and she promotes the same type of genre of content that I do as well, with putting these sisters in check. So if that is something you're into, that's something you're interested in, please make sure you subscribe to her. Her channel is Dee Dee. And again, she also promotes that same type of content, and I didn't know anything about it until a subscriber brought it to me. So if y'all want to take a chance to check out my video that she had uploaded, it is on her community tab, and the name of the video, I can see if I can find it, Attention Bitter Baby Mamas. And she posted it 3 days ago. So again, big ups to Dee. She sent a lot of her subscribers over here. A lot of her subscribers subscribe to my channel, to my platform. So if this is your first time ever checking out any of my content, and you're coming from Dee or another content creator, I want to welcome you to Mocha's Cafe de Paris family. And again, thank you for subscribing. And of course, my A1s from day ones, you know, I'm always grateful for y'all. I appreciate y'all loyalty. I appreciate y'all dedication to my channel. So again, I just had to acknowledge Dee. I had to give her that shout out, man. That, like I said, that's a big, you know, a big token for me, because again, a lot of these content creators that are on her level, they will not promote, they will not acknowledge small content creators. So for her to do that, that is definitely, awesome for her to do, because she did not have to do it. And again, to Dee Dee, if you check out this video, I appreciate you. I'm grateful. Thanks again, and I'm glad there's more sisters out there that are pushing these narratives and making it clear to other women that a lot of us not being accountable for the decisions that we make is going to consistently cost us until we learn to make better decisions. So nevertheless, wanted to make sure I address that, but I wanted to get directly into today's content. I want to talk about how women need to teach sons to not impregnate broken women. I am starting to notice that this is becoming a constant, consistent trend, that there are a lot of young men who are not even barely, well established. Some of them haven't even gotten themselves a chance to become independent. Some of them are still living with their parents. Some of them are still trying to find themselves. Some of these men are still trying to learn who they are. These young men have not fully transitioned into manhood. And just because you have had sex with women, just because you got hair growing on your scrotum sac, on your facial hairs, you got a mustache or sideburns, you got this certain level of testosterone that has developed in you, it does not mean you have fully developed into a man. And because there's this misconception, there's a lot that's being promoted that in order to be a man, you would have had to have some type of sexual experience, because again, we are in a society in which men are being breeded into believing that you're not a man unless you have had some punani, unless you have had sex with multiple women. It is like masculinity is based off of your penis mileage, how many women you've been able to smash. And we know this is far from the truth. But again, this is that barbershop talk. This is that locker room talk. This is that hood talk when you're around your homeboys, drinking some Henny, smoking and puffing some Black and Miles or some blunts. This is the type of talk that goes on. So nevertheless, I thought it was imperative to talk about this, because there are not enough of women out here that are schooling and coaching their young sons and to not making themselves a man before they're ahead of their time, before they have mentally developed. And I thought this was imperative because I'm starting to notice there are so many young men that are taking on the roles of being stepfathers. They're meeting young women that have already been promiscuous, that have already learned how to be promiscuous, have already partaken in having a sexual activity lifestyle. And these young men are drawn to these type of females, and not only are they drawn to them, they're drawn to these women who already have children. And I noticed that some of these young men, they don't even have kids themselves. Maybe it's just me, but I'm noticing a lot of young men are becoming more drawn to young women who already have responsibilities. There are young men that are not even 30 years old yet and already are stepfathers. And they're taking on the baggage of these young women like it's a badge of honor. They are willingly and are very proud to be with young women who have already lived their lives very fast, who have already started being promiscuous at a young age. And these young men, they take on these type of females and make these young women their girlfriends. They try to build a future with them. And I think a lot of this comes from the fact that it's a lot of women out here that are not schooling their sons. They're not teaching their sons to avoid women that partake in overly sexual behavior at a young age, have already made themselves become women before they fully developed out of girlhood. And I believe the reason why a lot of sisters, a lot of women are not schooling their sons to avoid these type of females, because the truth of the matter is a lot of these women have done exactly what these young girls have done. And this is the reason why they don't school their sons, they don't educate their sons to stay away from these thoughts, to stay away from these young birds that have excess baggage, more luggage than, American Airlines. They don't teach their sons to avoid these type of females because they are these type of females. And I surely believe that women who have also have that same lifestyle, have also have lived that same lifestyle, they empathize with young women who follow into their footsteps. And because they empathize and sympathize, I put it this way, older thoughts, they can relate to young thoughts. Okay, so therefore they do not teach their sons to avoid these type of women because they once upon a time was these type of women. So they sympathize and empathize with these young women. And furthermore, a lot of these women know that telling their sons to avoid these type of women would basically mean they will have to snitch on themselves. You know what I mean? It's very rarely you have too many women that are going to be very transparent and tell their sons what type of women they are. Now, I do find it ironic. I will say this. Most men, and I'm sure some of y'all can co-sign on this, whether it was your own father, whether it was your own uncle. I remember my father, he told me to avoid men like him. My father was very transparent and he told me that. He told me, my dad told me he used to be a player. His objective was to only get as much as he can get. He told me, the strategies he would use, the mind games he would play, the lines he would say, to talk a woman into giving him some. And he would let me know these things. He told me to stay away from the type of dudes he was because he did not want me falling into that same entrapment. So he schooled me to the things that he did to women, the way he deceived women, the way he manipulated women to get what he wanted. And he didn't want me to fall victim to guys like him. So we all know how that uncle or that, if you was blessed to have a man in your life, some type of male figure to put you on game and tell you, hey, don't mess with these type of dudes. I was this type of dude back in the day. I was all about getting as much as I can get, blah, blah, blah. But what I noticed, I rarely ever yet to see, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen a woman come forth and say, look, son, stay away from women like me. I was a gold digger. I was out there hoeing at a young age. I had multiple kids for multiple baby daddies. So I was looking for a square dude that I knew was inexperienced, intellectually and sexually when it came to conniving women like myself. So I would pick a square dude, a dude that I knew didn't know the game like I knew. I knew how to stroke his ego. I knew how to bring him in that bedroom, give him head out of this world, turn his ass out where I could get him to do things for me that an experienced dude would never do. So, son, don't fall for women like me. I played those games. I knew how to cook for a man to make him feel like a man. I knew how to, make him feel important. I knew how to do things other women wouldn't do. I did all of this to lure a man in to get him comfortable with me. Then once I got him comfortable with me, once I wielded him in with my rod, with my thought rod, and I was able to get him to do everything I wanted to do, I also wanted to make sure I locked him in. So I got pregnant from him because I knew, he didn't have other children. And I knew because I had kids from other guys that sooner than later, he has the option to leave me. He has the option to walk away. So to make sure he wouldn't walk away, I stopped taking my birth control pills. I lied to him, told him I didn't want no kids, told him I was on something. I played the game to get him comfortable to not wear protection with me. And boom, when I got pregnant, I played crazy like, well, I don't know how that happened. I was taking a pill. I was going to the doctor. I went and got myself tied. See, women ain't going to go there and be transparent with their sons. They are not going to teach them to avoid gold digging women like them. Because again, that would mean what? The A word that we're allergic to? Accountability. That would mean I would have to put myself out there and tell my son, hell, he got here, through a thought session. I was thoughtin', you know what I mean? So a lot of women do not like to take accountability anyway, because again, they don't want to look bad. You know, they want to pin it on the baby daddy. And the bad part is it does a disservice to their sons, because their sons end up getting manipulated by women just like them. Now, this is the other crazy part. What I do notice is women who don't school their sons to avoid women like them. The crazy part is a lot of these women, they got a thought target. They could spot a thought target from a mile away. I mean, it's common sense. Let's say if you have a son, he's single, he's handsome, he's successful, the world is his oyster, he don't have any baggage, no responsibilities, and you see this thought, who's constantly hanging around him. She has two, three little Pookies and Ray Rays, and she's always up under your son, always calling your son. Your son is always hanging out with her. He's always spending the night. You, as a thought, a reformed thought, you know what's coming. A lot of these women, they see that their sons are heading for dickstruction, not dickstruction, dickstruction, meaning their dick is going to cause them to self-destruct. Okay, I've seen it 1,000 times. I've seen young guys bring females to their parents to meet their mothers, and this chick already has 2, 3 kids. He's playing stepdaddy. Now, mind you, he didn't even get a chance to have his own child. He don't have children of his own. He's already playing stepdaddy. And when women see stuff like this, instead of pulling their son aside and letting them know this is what's going to happen, son, she's trying to bait you. Okay, you already taking on the stepdaddy role. Sooner than later, you're going to give her mixed signals that you love taking on the responsibility of being a father to her children, since her other deadbeat ass baby daddies ain't doing the goddamn thing. By you putting yourself out there like that, son, by you being helpful, by you stepping in, you taking on this role, you picking up her kids from childcare, you buying her kids food, you taking her kids out to eat when you take her out to eat. Son, eventually this is going to give her an incentive that he wants to be a family man. And the thing about it is, a lot of these guys are not being educated from their moms. Their mothers are not telling them. These type of women are very slick and conniving. They rather get a guy that does not have any children, that does not have any responsibilities, because the truth is, these young women, they own something else now. Back in our day, it was all about just meeting a guy, dating a guy, going out with the guy. If it was a guy you liked, a guy you was really feeling, your focus was on having a relationship. These females, these bras today are cut from a different cloth. They're not content with just having a relationship. These females want to get pregnant now. Okay? It's not about just getting a guy to like them for who they are. Some of these females are so insecure, especially the ones that have excess baggage, especially the ones that are single mothers who already aren't getting any support from their deadbeat baby daddies. The moment they see a nice guy come along and he's acting like he has interest, and especially if he's displaying any type of care for her children, and the back of her mind, she's not thinking about, I need to have a relationship with him. The first thing she's thinking about is, I need to get pregnant from this guy. I need to seal the deal. I need to lock him in, because you know why? She has abandonment issues. She's already thinking about, the guys, her deadbeat ass baby daddies who left her, neglected her, left her to handle the bag on her own. She's having to live with the aftermath of that. So instead of her learning from the last guy abandoning her, she's just going to repeat the same mistake, thinking it's going to be different. I'm going to get pregnant again. And you wonder why so many of these young women, they have 3, 4, 5 baby daddies, because in their psyche, they're lacking comprehension skills. It hasn't registered. Okay, baby daddy 1, I got pregnant from him and he left. Baby daddy number 2, I got pregnant from him, he left. Baby daddy number 3, I got pregnant from him and he left. It's not registering. For some strange, malfunctional, dysfunctional reason, they believe it's going to be different. They feel like every guy they meet, even if they keep doing the same thing, they're going to keep getting different results. So, if your son is a square, You know, if your son, if you have not already schooled him, if you have not already educated him, if you have not already taught him how to protect his penis, he's going to get got. And I'm seeing a lot of guys getting got because what is going on is, let me tell y'all something. A lot of these young single mothers, they have figured out the key ingredient to willing in y'all sons. They have figured out the key ingredient to manipulating and targeting your simple sons. They have learned that all they have to do is be very catering. All they have to do is be very nurturing because these single mothers, they're used to being very nurturing because they have to nurture their children all the time. And if your son is a square, he's not used to getting attention. He's not used to pretty girls checking for him because he has weak game. Guess what? The desperate single mother, she's going to tolerate his, you know, his cornball game. She's going to tolerate his lameness because at this point she realizes she has to be very patient. She's a single mom. She's already used to being patient. She's had to learn, and she has had to learn to endure patience based on the strength that she's already having to raise a child alone. So she's learned to be patient. As for with these younger women who are child free, who are team no kids, you know, these younger women, they're not going to be as patient with the square guy. You get what I'm saying? Because they're still young, they're not tied down, they're not bogged down. So the moment the square dude seems to show some interest, but if he doesn't seem very confident or he seems a little lame, the young single female, especially if she's pretty, she's attractive, she's independent and got a lot going for her, she's not going to have a whole lot of patience. But these desperate young single mothers, they have a lot of patience with these young guys being corny, being lame, because they realize that, look, I need a baby father. I got to will this man in, this dude in by any means necessary. So if I got to go along with the lameness and him being um you know, not sure himself, not confident himself, I have to keep playing the game and keep showing I'm interested in him. I have to give him the attention he's not used to getting so I can will him in, get him comfortable, get pregnant from him. And now I have adopted a substitute daddy for my deadbeat baby daddy kids. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these females have learned how to spot the square dude. You know, a lot of these young women that are single mothers, they know guys that are confident, guys that are advanced, guys that are ambitious, got plans and got a goal. They know they cannot manipulate them as smoothly as they could the inconfident guy, the guy who lacks confidence, the guy who doesn't have much game, the guy who's lacking ambition, don't really know what he wants to do with his life. These are most of the young men that they are easy to target. You know, young guys who haven't been schooled the game, young guys who aren't used to getting attention, young guys who lack sexual experience. Those are the main type of guys that become the target. Men that are young men that haven't had a lot of sexual choices, you know, women basically throwing themselves at them. A young man that has not had much experience with having sexual encounters with women, they are number one targets as far as young single mothers being able to manipulate them. Because if a man has not had any sexual experience, this woman is more advanced than him as far as sexually. She's already a single mother, so she's already gifted in giving head. She's already gifted in, you know, knowing how to sexually please him, which is not going to take much because, again, this young man isn't used to getting any sex, if not any at all. You know what I'm saying? So a young man who's experiencing this type of sexual encounter with a desperate single baby mama and she turns his ass out, basically she has him going in the head. And once she gets him going in the head, eventually he's going to get comfortable. He's not going to use any protection. He's not going to watch himself. And next thing he know, now he's has a child on the way. And now that he realizes the responsibilities are more severe than what he thought, and now her true colors are starting to manifest because now she's pregnant from this man. Well, she has a child from this man. Now she feels comfortable to show her ass, to disrespect him, take him through all kind of changes because she knows he ain't going anywhere now. She has the golden prize. Or if he were to go anywhere, she knows she has the power to make his life miserable because she has a child. And a young man who has become a father for the very first time, um of course the experience is very new to him, it's very joyous to him, and she's going to take that and use it to her advantage because she knows that he's never been a father before, and especially if he's a young man that displays how much he loves his child, how much he wants to be a part of his child's life. And she's going to use that to her advantage. So the moment he acts like he can't tolerate her, he can't stand her, or he doesn't want to wife her, he doesn't want to give in to her demands, she's going to use that child as a weapon against him. And a lot of you women, y'all know that because you've done it yourself. A lot of these women, y'all know the games these young women will play on y'all sons. Y'all know the game. But because being transparent with your son about the game mean it's going to require you to be transparent about the shit you have done during your thought era, during your thought season. A lot of y'all are not going to be transparent for that reason. And it's sad, but I see a lot of young men out here that are getting trapped by these type of females every day, because there's no women schooling them. The mothers, y'all are not schooling y'all sons. Sisters, y'all not schooling y'all brothers. And again, I'm sure some of you have probably tried to, but once a female has gotten a hold of a man's penis in his mind, sometimes it's too late. And I get it. In some cases, some of these men get too far gone and have to find out the hard way. But for a lot of you women, if it's not too late, y'all need to be educating y'all sons. Y'all need to let y'all sons know the signs of a gold digger. If she's coming to him with all this assets baggage, she's staying with her mama, or she's dependent on governmental assistance, she's living off of Section 8, she's living in low income housing. Evidently, she's somebody who needs help. And this is what tends to happen. Some of these young women, they start a thought life at a very young age. Some of these young women have become promiscuous at the age of 10, 11, 12, for whatever reason. And what tends to happen is these young women, these young ladies, make themselves become women ahead of their time. So they end up having these womanly responsibilities, these womanly emotions that you as a young man, you're not prepared or deal with to handle. And if you are in the company of these type of women for a long, extensive amount of time, she's going to end up sucking you in. You're constantly being around her, you're hanging around her, you're getting attached to her child, you're getting attached to her. Because she has already started her adult life thanks to governmental assistance, meaning she has her own apartment. She's already established some type of independency based on the government assisting her. If you're a young man and you haven't gotten yourself together, you haven't got your life started yet, being in the presence of this female to where you can always be with her in her own apartment, the fact that she has so much of her own things based on the government assisting her, you will become impressed by that. You will become flattered by that. That's how a lot of these guys get got. These young women allow these young men to spend the night all the time in their Section 8 apartment. They spend the night all the time in their governmental apartment. And if this young man is not used to being with a woman that has her own place, a young man that's not used to being with a woman with that amount of freedom, he could easily get suckered into being with her. This woman does not stay with her parents, because she's living off of Section 8. She's living off of governmental housing. So you're allowed to have sex with her as much as you want, as often as you want. And the thing is, a lot of these young women, they don't have a problem with these young men not wearing protection. And these young men need to be mindful of that. Y'all need to be teaching y'all sons, if you're meeting a woman who are female, who already has children, and she's telling you she's on a pill, or she's telling you she doesn't want any more children, or she's telling you she's allergic to condoms, or whatever the case is, you need to do something to protect yourself. A lot of these young men are getting suckered every day. And a harsh reality is a lot of them are not going to find out until it's too late. It's a lot of young men that are not even 30 years old and are already dealing with drama. They're at a stage in their life in which they are miserable. There's no way a young man under the age of 30 should already be going through baby mama drama. You shouldn't even be experiencing that. You should be trying to start a business. You should be trying to, earn a degree in college. You should be being productive. You should be trying to plant your feet, start a career, trying to build yourself as a man. And the problem is, if you're a young man who lacks confidence, who lacks self-esteem, and you can easily be manipulated just by the way a woman sexually pleases you in the bedroom, it's not going to take much for you to get caught up. And again, a lot of it has to do with these women. Y'all are not schooling y'all sons. Y'all are not being honest with them. Y'all not telling them how far these girls will go. You're not telling them that. These young women are very mischievous these days. These young women are very malicious. They're very conniving. They know how to spot a simp a miles away. And I hate to say it, but a lot of these young men, they're being groomed into simps. And a lot of it has to do with single mothers that are raising them and absentee fathers that aren't in the picture teaching them how to avoid these type of women. But it's these single mothers who have raised them as one of their siblings by themselves. And some of these young men have the audacity, they sympathize with these young single mothers. They sympathize with them where they want to play daddy to their kids. They want to be Captain Save-a-thot because they were raised in a household in which they seen their mothers have to do it all by themselves when it came to raising them. So unfortunately, um, a lot of these young men that are playing Captain Save a Thought, a lot of them were raised in households with single mothers who also had men that weren't their biological fathers, who also enabled their mothers, who also supported their mothers. So this type of dysfunction has been normalized to a lot of these young men because, again, I've never witnessed so many young men that are picking up young women that already got access baggage. I've never understood why these young men are drawn to young women that are already mothers and they didn't even have a chance to become fathers themselves. But for whatever reason, that is what these young men are doing now. They are learning to be Captain Save-a-thot. And I wish that there would be more women, starting with mothers, because a lot of these times young men do tend to favor a lot of what their mothers have to say in some instances, and then some of them just going to do what they want to do regardless. But I wish more women, if you know your son is a square, you know your son is a lame, you see he's picked up a female who's already a mother of a child, and he doesn't have children himself. He's still living with you. He can barely keep a job. You see him constantly in the presence of this female. You see he's always kicking it with her. He's always staying the night with her. He's spending a lot of quality time with her. You know what's coming. And you as a mother, you need to school. I wish more women school your sons to the triflingness of what a lot of these women out here are built of. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of y'all are not going to do that. Y'all going to sit there and watch your son sink and swim. And you know what the crazy part is? When these young females, when they pull a you on your son, these young women, y'all want to get upset with them. Y'all want to call these young women out their names. This broad been trying to take my son for what he got. This broad been trying to use my son. You sitting up here and you letting your sons get got because you won't keep it real. You won't be transparent. You're not telling your sons how scandalous these women are. Let these sons know the games you used to run. Let them know how you used to entrap guys to get pregnant from you. Let them know you used to poke holes in the condom and use turkey baits to win. A man left his condom in the wastebasket. Y'all know it's a lot of tricks to the game out there. If you don't want your son getting caught up with a female that can make his life a living hell, y'all need to be schooling these young men. Anyway, leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this situation, because I know it's a lot of young men out here that are trying to find masculinity by getting involved with young women who already have a lot of excess baggage. If you are a young man and you're still trying to get your life together, you're still trying to develop into a man, you're still trying to seek your independence, you're still trying to learn a lot about life, do not get yourself caught up with a female who's already a mother, who already has a child. You don't have any children. Guarantee you she's going to pull something sooner than later. She's going to come up with a plan that's going to keep you bonded to her forever. So anyway, leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all feel that there's not enough women teaching their sons how not to impregnate broken women? Women that are dysfunctional, women that already have excess baggage, women that are overly sexually advanced compared to these young men. Do y'all think this is something that is going on way too comfortably in the community? Men as well, if y'all can give y'all intake as to why you think these young men get caught up with these type of females, I would like to learn y'all intake as well. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. Before I shut it down, for anybody who's interested in buying cable, I sell cable, 9,000 channels for only $20 a month. So if you're interested and you got a Fire Stick and high-speed internet, I can hook you up and get you 9,000 channels of live stream cable. Those of you who are interested in buying my hair oil for women, remember I have 2 bottles. You get 2 for $14 or 1 bottle for $8. So if you're interested in my hair oil that I actually make myself, you're welcome to make that purchase. Just email me and I'll be glad to ship it out for you. And for those of you men who are interested in beard oil, yes, I sell beard oil for men as well. Got my special today. Usually sell it for $10 a bottle, but today and today only, I'm doing it for $6 a bottle. So if you're interested, guys, email me, hit me up, and I would love to send you out my good smelling, homemade, natural beard oil for men. So anyway, I'm gonna shut it down. It's your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm gonna always pour you a cup of truth. I'm gonna always bring you up with a slice of knowledge. Make sure you hit that like button before you exit. Y'all be blessed. Take care.